Afternoon. It's Shana Ackles again with Growthward Consulting, and I am joined today with Luis Carmona. He's the director of expansion for the Kristan Network and also a consultant within Growthward. And his specialty within our company is expansion, all things expansion, everything there is, everything to know and do and work through expansion, avoiding mistakes, hopefully. Luis, you joined Kristan in her network about 5 years ago as her director of expansion, and we just were going over some numbers. At that time, there were about 10 agents in 4 locations, right?
Right.
So 5 years later, you're in 20 states, 35 locations, 170 agents.
Yes.
Is that correct?
Yeah.
Sweet.
It's been a great ride, a big evolution.
So you have a lot of bumps and bruises.
I was going to say a lot of building it and breaking it.
Right. Build it up and break it down.
Yeah.
Cool. So the purpose of these series that we're doing with all of our consultants is you're a specialty. That's why you're a consultant in my company. Like, you run one of the top expansion divisions. You're on the leadership team and one of the top expansion teams in the nation. And I want to be able to bring that value to our clients. So in your world, in expansion, where you consult and you work and boots on the ground and true validity, what are the 3 biggest mistakes that you see people make when they're choosing to expand?
Yeah. So I would say number 1 is they partner up with the wrong people. So whether that's people in their organization or they're going into the wrong market center. Either it's a market center that doesn't know how expansion works, they're not bought in. Maybe they don't know the nuances on the back end of it. But even bigger than that, it's like partnering up with the wrong local expansion partner.
Mm-hmm. And I'm going to interrupt you because it's a great conversation. Do you see that happening because people say, oh, I want to go expand in Phoenix, it's a hot market, so they decide to expand there and then just take whoever they can get? Or is it the opposite? Like, they think they have the right person, they go into a marketplace and find out it's wrong? Or is it a combination of both?
I think it's a combination of both. I think everybody naturally wants to think growth and do something that is maybe trendy, or you think you can do it. And so they're either thinking of a location they want to travel to, or they meet somebody and immediately you're already going into, yeah, let's do this together, without following the CV process. Really,
Right.
it's the right match.
Right. Getting that buy-in.
Yeah.
So the first one's the wrong who. Like we always say, I say it all the time, it's always about the who. Nothing else matters but the who. Okay, what's number 2?
Number 2 would be your administrative staff isn't ready. Meaning your systems at your hub, you haven't prepared your systems in order to expand, so deliver value virtually. And also, you might not have the right admin either. You need a talented admin that can create new systems and also pivot with the changes that are occurring in your business. Mm-hmm. And your admin people might not be there. They might not want to do that,
And it seems like an obvious question, but I'm going to ask it. How would you know? Like, how would you know before it's too late?
Well, I think a couple things. Are they motivated to be a part of this type of organization? You need to revisit the motivation piece inside CV. Mm-hmm. And be checking in with them on what's still important to them. Have their motivations changed? Is there an opportunity they're looking for? And could this be the right opportunity? Mm-hmm. And then the other thing is doing an analysis of your systems, your current systems, and do you have the capability to deliver it virtually to another location?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Big.
Yeah.
Okay, number 3.
Number 3 would be, so thinking about the bigger picture of your organization. So there's the administrative piece, which is one part of it, but thinking about your platform, like what is the value proposition you're delivering? So ultimately, sometimes agents don't have that platform. And so what is the value proposition for an expansion partner to partner up with you? At the hub.
So I'm going to just interrupt, because what comes to mind is, like, you have an organization in California and you're like a 95% database driven business, right? Mm-hmm. And it's all local database driven business, and you're hugely successful, and you want to go 4 hours away and have an expansion.
Right.
How are you going to deliver that same value when your business is 95% database?
Exactly.
Do you
100%.
know, do you even know how to work? Do you even know how to speak that business when now you're now going out to get cold leads?
Hmm.
Mhm.
Exactly.
Sorry, I interrupted you. I do
No,
that. I
that's
apologize.
great. That's one of the pieces, and then it's also, um, can your admin staff handle onboarding 10 agents at the same time? It doesn't sound like that many, but that's a huge undertaking that I've seen
Right.
a lot of bottlenecks, a lot of admin staff can't handle it. So that's creating all the email addresses, all the collateral, making sure that it's compliant with the broker, making sure you have your contract signed, making sure you have the contract with the market center. And even beyond that, then what is the coaching and training platform? How are you going to know that they can execute and convert on the leads that you're going to provide them if you even
Mhm.
provide leads?
Right.
Or are you just going to recruit a bunch of agents and then turn on, spend thousands of dollars on online leads, and then their skills aren't being brought up to speed, and you're spending faster than the conversion of those leads.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Right. And that, you talked about onboarding and collateral and state compliance, and I just have to mention, all the exciting changes happening in the expansion world right now and how some of that may get way more streamlined. And it's, of course, a teaser because nothing we're talking about really just yet at a high level. But
Yeah.
the
I
other
mean,
thing, but the other thing when you're looking at an expansion, are you prepared for what's happening 6 months to 12 months down the road because it is happening so quickly, and are you able to pivot?
right.
Like, are you able to pivot quickly? I mean, in this market in general, you have to be able to do that, but specifically in expansion, can you pivot in 2 or 3 different locations really quickly?
Exactly. And each little market has its different temperature, if you will, either super seller's market or it's starting to thaw out a little bit. And a lot of what we've been talking about especially since COVID, it's message of the moment, and it seems to change week by week. And
Right,
so how are you going to keep your temperature on each market and then empower your agents to succeed in the market that they're in?
right.
So I
Awesome.
think,
I feel like we've successfully scared 90% of the industry out of expansion. But not the goal. Really, the goal is, like, how do you learn? You learn from other people's mistakes, and
yeah.
gosh, I mean, you've been there, done it all.
Well, the goal is to win, right? And so
Mhm.
that's kind of what I love to do. I love being helping an organization launch,
Mhm.
whether they're launching their first expansion location or they've got one, but they're about to do the one that's really far. It's not 10-minute, 15-minute drive. I
You
love
really do love
that.
it. I
Yeah,
love when I call you with a new client and I'm like, "Hey, what do you think about this? Can you take it?" And you're like a little kid. You just get so excited. Like, you really do love it.
yeah. Launch is my favorite startup.
Yeah. Okay, so let's like end on a positive note. What's like the one thing, if somebody's thinking I want to expand, what's the very first thing they should be doing aside from I'm going to give them a freebie, take ESO. Doesn't
Yeah.
matter what company you're with, doesn't even really matter what industry you're in. I mean, we've successfully helped people expand in mortgage lending, right? In lots of different business realms. It can apply to anything. So it doesn't really matter which industry you're in. um, Take ESO, like get the basic education. But then what's the number one thing they need to do first before anything else?
I think a very honest analysis of where you're at right now. What's the status quo in terms of personnel? Who are your people? What is their capacity? What is their motivation? Are they the people that are going to get you to where you want to get to, or do you need to deepen your bench? And along with that, how an analysis of your hub and your systems. Where are they? Where can you improve? Where are the gaps? And what do you need to improve on before launching?
Hmm. So is
Um,
it fair to say if you're launching a business, like there's no way to create systems that are going to be, if I'm at X today and I want to grow 30%, there's no way to create a system that's going to carry you 10 years of growth,
right.
right? You're going to get through 3 to 4 years and it's going to break. But what do you think the time horizon is for, like, if I'm analyzing my systems and I go, can these systems handle 20% growth, 30% growth? Like, is there a magic number that people should be gauging it by?
Like how long it would take to prepare to get going?
No, like, so if you have a contract to close system, let's say you have you have a TC on your staff, and you want to know like, do you want to start with people at 50% capacity, 75% capacity? I mean, I guess, is there a baseline? Is it just I'm great at this, I suck at this, or is there a baseline by which you should say, okay, I'm ready to expand, knowing that once I grow 25 or 30%, it's probably gonna break, it's not gonna last, but I'm ready to do it.
I think each business is a little different because each mega is set up differently. They might still be in production at the local market, or they might not be in
Hmm.
production. If they're not in production, then maybe their systems are developed a little further and they're
Hmm.
ready to go. But I don't know if this answers your question, but I would do as much as possible without an additional hire. Use your existing people and your existing systems, because that's where the expansion gets profitable, because you're increasing revenue without increasing your administrative expense.
So if my goal for the very first year in my expansion hub is to grow X percentage through the expansion, can my existing team handle that expansion without me adding to it?
Correct.
That
Yeah.
makes sense. That was a very confusing conversation to get to that answer.
All good.
Cool,
Love it.
cool. All right,
Awesome.
anything else to add? Again, I don't like to drone on this stuff, but I love those tips you gave. I think they're great. They seem intuitive, and they're not. They're
Right.
not, because people continually make the same mistakes. And so thank you for sharing that and making it top of mind.
Just I look forward to meeting more people at ESO, and if anybody has any questions, they want to reach out for a quick chit chat, reach out, and happy to talk to people.
You're fantastic. Thanks, Luis. I will talk to you soon.
Thank you.